On a mission to eliminate racism, empower women, and promote peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all. With your hosts, YWCA Executive Director Karen Bell Darcy and YWCA Associate Director Maisha Essex. You're listening to the YWCA Hour. Here are your hosts, Karen Bell and Maisha Essex.
Welcome in. We're gonna cut that short. So we got a little bit of corrections there on the names. Karen, please tell them your name for everybody out there.
That's okay. I'm used to it. I am Karen Bell Dancy,
not Darcy. And then, of course, Maisha Essex is in here as well. I know that one was pronunciated correctly, but nonetheless, it is a Sunday. This is the W or the YWCA Hour. We got the host, as always, to my left. If you guys want to join in, use the streams. That's Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, Allo Channel 961. And again, you can use Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. Plenty of things to talking about. We talked a little bit during off air. School's coming up. That's right around the corner. I know we actually got some kids with the first day of school pictures out there already, and then obviously for college students as well. So without further ado, I'll throw it to the host. Karen, where do you want to start things off with here?
Oh, yeah, we're so excited for another school year. We spent a lot of time over the summer getting prepared for our programs of what we will work with during the school year and helping to support our students. We will continue with our work through our family and community engagement in supporting families as they start to send the students back to school. And Maisha will share some of the programs that will be delivered throughout the school day as well as after school, and then some that we offer on alternate weekends as well. So
yes, absolutely. I agree with Harrison. I love seeing all of my family pictures of like my nieces and nephews going back to school, and some being super excited while others are like, I don't know if I'm ready yet. So I've enjoyed watching it. YWCA Lincoln, we offer a lot of different programs through the schools system for our youth. And I know some of you may think, if you can think back to when you maybe have engaged with YWCA, we get a lot of comments around the community about different programs we used to offer. So we used to have a building where you could take swim lessons. We had I believe it was like a women's self-defense class that we used to offer as well. We had dance classes, and all of that was amazing and great. It was a response to community needs, but we've transitioned a little bit here to offer some different programs to our youth throughout the community. So as we stated last year, our mission impact, one of the tiers is the health and safety of women and girls, and then the advancement and empowerment of women and girls. And so that's where our youth development department really kind of plays within those tiers to offer different programs. We have a great partnership with Lincoln Public Schools and with the community learning centers to offer these programs to a plethora of schools out here. We are in so many schools. We typically serve about 400 kids a year. And we partner with our youth development program. We can partner between like 15 to 20 schools a year to provide some of these services. So we're so excited to get back into the school building and to help our young women and our young girls thrive within the school system, hopefully through some of our programs. So our biggest program that I can talk about is our STEM initiative. And if you don't know what that is science, technology, engineering, and math. So we know that there's a huge discrepancy between male and female representation within that field. And we know it's not because girls are not able to do it. It's just been a lot of different reasons why they have not been encouraged to go into those fields. Some of them have been society and historically that girls should not be in those fields, or just, again, wasn't encouraged to look at that as a successful career pathway. And so what we want to do, because there are so many jobs out there, right? We want to make sure that our girls understand these concepts, not only for school, but also can explore careers within this field of STEM. And so it's our biggest club that we offer. It's 4th through 8th grade, but it's just a club where we do different experiments with girls, just to get them a little bit more engaged and involved in STEM. We like to show them that STEM is all around you. You utilize it every single day. It's just about being intentional with us showing it to them. Also, again, exposing them to different career pathways. So we talked about being a clothing designer and how STEM can play into that, because a lot of girls, they'll say, well, I want to be a designer and I want to do these things, and I don't think that's STEM. And we'll sit down and we say, oh, yes, it is.
Yeah,
yes,
it is.
It's a lot, and technology now is being used when we're talking about clothing and costumes, especially like on film sets and things like that. So being able to expose them to the different sides of their career choices that could be related to STEM. Also, if you want to do anything, being a business, let's just start with math.
Right.
So let us get more comfortable in that subject. And so we teach a lot of different areas within STEM, and hopefully our goal is to make sure that they understand these skill sets, but they become a little bit more comfortable. With Smart Girls, we do try to sneak in there some things as well, like that we have to do, with all of our youth development. So it's not just about
secrets,
right. It's not just all about STEM, but public speaking, critical thinking, all those things, leadership development, within these programs. And so my favorite story to tell is about slime. Our kids love slime, and for some reason it has not gone out of style. I don't get it. It's been around. It is like the number one request for experiments, and so the schools don't like it. They do not like it. They hate it. And so one year we took it out of our curriculum. We work after school, and so the intention is that the kids would make the slime and then take it home. However,
right,
sometimes they bring it back to school, and so schools can be a little bit weary about slime projects. And so one year I took it out. I said, no, we're not going to do it. We're going to replace it with something else in regards to chemistry. And the girls, they were just, and this was at Belmont Middle School. And so shout out to Belmont Middle School and our partnership there with the Community Learning Center. Yeah. But they were like, oh, we really want slime. I really, really like, that's the favorite activity. And I said, well, why do you want to do slime? And they're like, oh, because it's science. I said, well, how is it science? And they couldn't really say. And I said, well, if you can go on your own time and research and figure out why this is considered science, then I'll put it back in. Now, mind you, I was thinking,
they ain't gonna do that.
They're not gonna do this. They're not gonna go. They went home. They went home
motivated,
extremely motivated, and came up. They did a presentation about polymers and just everything about how this is science. And you know what? Belmont Middle School brought it back for the curriculum for all of our elementary school kids.
Guess who has slime now?
And we make sure they take it home afterwards. But they were really, really adamant about bringing that back in. But, that inspired them again with that research, critical thinking. They were able to get up and do a presentation, and it just motivated them to be engaged at that level, which really, really amazing. Again, so like our Smart Girls program, we offer it after school in select elementary and middle schools. It's something that we would love to expand to all middle schools, because we want to be that support for the 9 to 3 o'clock or the 8 to 3 o'clock when they're in those science, those STEM classes. We want to make sure that what we're doing is supporting that, and hopefully that it is increasing, academic excellence and engagement while they're in school, to be in a setting first or where they feel comfortable to explore that. We used to have a program called Eureka, and it was a program for starting the summer before their 7th grade year and following them through to high school. And we would go out to the science classes and we would present. And we would present this program. It was an amazing program. We partnershiped with a lot of people for this program to be here in Lincoln, and with the YWCA its first year. And when we would go to these schools, the science classes, and we presented in front of the entire class, guess who raised their hand to learn more about the program? The boys.
Harrison, I was waiting on you to get that.
The girls would not say anything. They'd sit in the back. We like, you have any questions?
The boys were totally engaged.
They were so engaged, and the girls just in the back, and we're like, oh no. So the next year we asked that the boys be removed from the class when we're doing this presentation, because it was for girls. And it was just a totally different environment when we were able to just speak to the girls about, this program, which was focused on STEM. and they were so much more engaged. They had a ton of questions. And so we just need to also look at the self-esteem part and the self-awareness when we're creating our programs as well. So that's our Smart Girls Club that we have. Again, it's the biggest one. It's the one that's been around for a very long time. A lot of people know that we offer that STEM program, and we're always accepting community members in to be a part of this program. There are many ways that you can be a part of our programs and a part of our community organization and mission. And with Smart Girls, we love to invite women who are currently in the community that are in the STEM fields to come in and talk to our girls and talk about their specific career pathway and their experience as being a woman in STEM. And so it's something that, if anyone's out there and they would like to get engaged and involved with
and in
our
the
STEM
business world as well, because we need those collaborative partners to help us to continue to expand and deliver that curriculum. And we've had other companies before that have worked with us, and they had their staff or their personnel to actually come out and engage with the students. So just helping those girls to understand that even though a lot of times the school curriculum is not really designed to really foster and really promote girls in the STEM field, that we do see girls as we continue in society, more and more girls want to become professionals in different STEM careers.
Yeah, and I'll ask you guys this because I think it's important understanding the problem if you're trying to address it. Like for you guys, when you're looking at this, like what do you see, especially with the youth and girls, where maybe that confidence is lacking? You kind of pointed a little bit with the school where it's not necessarily focused, but it's clearly you guys are doing something where there is an interest, they are engaged in it, but you have to bring it to them a different way. For instance, just taking the guys out of the classroom, apparently, kind of get some more emotion, some more belief in it. So what do you guys see in the problem to where that kind of exists? Because now you're at this point now where you are addressing it and it's clearly working. But what was that problem you originally identified?
Well, I believe it's really, again, we had to work with the self. So like self-esteem, speaking up in those classes. But also it just wasn't an area in regards to career that women were encouraged to go into. And so right now we're just dealing with, how our society here was set up. And so you're dealing with that of, we talked about last week, YWCA and why we came about anyways, because people were going from women, were transitioning from domestic jobs into, industrial jobs. And so we just were always encouraged, this is what women do. This is what, males do. We also have to think about the bias that comes from, people who see a female in a certain position, right? And the things that they go through. And as Karen said, it's not necessarily a focus yet in the classroom. I mean, you teach science to everybody. And, everyone has to, I know all the schools, they have their rules and policies that they have to follow and different things that they have to check off. And so it's just not something that is a specific focus at this point. And again, with us being a support, we want to just support the schools and support that initiative. I think around the world, there was a point where we really wanted to see women in STEM. There are a lot of jobs that are unfulfilled right now.
Right.
And so we want to make sure that our young girls know that this is something you can do. It's not gender-based. You don't have to feel like that this is something that you were kind of encouraged to do,
Right.
that this was something that you weren't, encouraged to do, or it wasn't presented to you. We always want to present and then give the choice. And so that's where we are now, is really just undoing what we historically have done and historically have said that women should do and our position in society. So that's where we are. And hopefully if we continue to do this, then that changes.
And we were sneaky at one point, I will share, because we had students that were divided. When we were at the middle school, we had students that were divided into different academies. And a lot of the females, they tend to enroll in the arts academy. And so a lot of the males, those that identified as male, they were going into the STEM academy. So you know what we did? we made them switch.
We did. We encouraged, hey, go check out another academy. But also what we did is something called STEAM. And that's where you bring the arts into STEM.
Yeah.
And so we would do that as well. We would go ahead and integrate some of those STEAM lessons into our arts academy when we were at the school so that they can get, just plant that seed. That's all we're trying to do is plant a seed.
Even that switcheroo you did. That's, I know a lot of guys where they might not say it on their chest, but they're like, okay, I will go. They have to go into art.
Oh my God. We could have written a research paper off of it. It was so interesting, especially to see the STEM kids now go into the sports academy and or into the arts. So it was very cool, but it does really open up the opportunity for young females. And we have an annual event around our STEM program, and where now the participants, they actually show their families and the community what they've been engaged in over the whole school year working in the STEM program. And I'll never forget the first year that we had that event. The news reporter was there and interviewed one of the girls and asked her, what did she like most about her participation in this club? And she said, because the girls finally get to do what the boys get to do. And that's just saying, take a break from tradition of how we socialize our females and our males. And now we're putting them into an equal playing field.
Absolutely. And I'll ask one last thing because we do got to get to our first break here. What do you guys think the reason you have so much success with how engaged they are? Like, obviously the slime thing you brought that example before, they make a whole presentation. How do you get these guys so engaged? Because they're clearly excited when you guys show up.
They are excited. It's really, we just do different experiments. We're just trying to show them how fun and engaging it is to be, to engage in science, technology, engineering, and math. And how it's utilized practically every single day, but then again, how it's utilized in some of those really cool career pathways. So I just think they get a chance to sign up for it, and their parents. And so I think there is a level of interest when they do sign up for it, if it's not, where the CLC coordinators had to put them in. And even so, they get to, again, experience just how fun it can be to engage in some of these experiments.
And building that self-efficacy. So have them to take some responsibility over their learning, and then having them to do presentations. Maisha mentioned earlier that leadership piece. They take ownership of it and truly, truly enjoy it. And who wouldn't have fun in an experiment where you're creating your own lip gloss? They love that one. So.
Yeah, that face mask, because we bring in wellness. Again, you have to incorporate other things into it. And then, it's good to incorporate other aspects because that's just life. We want it to be well balanced. And so,
Well, yeah. And it definitely shows you, you mentioned it before, like it applies everywhere.
Like
it's hard to get away from STEM. Like you kind of, once you recognize it, you realize it's pretty much everywhere out there.
If you're cooking, you're involved in STEM.
Exactly. And with that being said, I think it's a perfect point to go ahead and wrap up with. First segment. We already wrapped up with this one. Don't go anywhere. The YWCA Hour. We got 2 more segments. Don't go anywhere. We'll keep it rolling.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in to the YWCA Hour. Harrison Arns on the 1s and 2s as always. Come Sundays, we've got plenty of things left to talk about here as school is starting up officially. So with that out of the way, I'll throw it back over to the host, Maisha. Where do you want to start with?
Oh yeah, we have 4 youth development programs in total, so we'll get through all of them. The next one that we offer through the school is our Catch Life Skills. This program was developed during the pandemic when we noticed that a lot of young girls were taking on roles that we typically attribute to adults. So, the staying after school to babysit, providing for the household financially. And so it was becoming a little bit more severe, and we were getting, calls, and we just wanted to make sure that these girls, I mean, we know that was happening prior to the pandemic. We know that. But we just wanted to make sure that these girls felt a sense of protection in a place where they can be, still cared for in the traditional sense and get some of the things that they should be able to receive out of school, because it's very hard. Again, we are a community partner that comes in and support the schools with a lot of these focused programs. If you're one of the girls who have to go home because they have to watch their siblings or go to work, sometimes you miss out on a lot of those additional resources that are really, really important for you to succeed throughout the school day, but then also for you to think about your career and choices after you graduate school. So this program, it is for high school students. We offer it. We've offered it to Lincoln High, Northeast, and North Star.
Yeah.
And this program is really, again, a life skills program where we're focused on some of those life skills like, wellness and cooking and budgeting and things that they have to do because, again, they're taking on a different role within the family and household right now out of necessity. And so you want to give them those life skills. But we also incorporate, again, leadership development, career exploration, college readiness, and then self and identity, so that they make sure that they're still connecting and doing these things where they're finding themselves. Because that's what we do, in high school as young girls. We're going through a lot of things and identity and trying to understand who we are. And so we want to make sure that all those things, are incorporated within this program. It has been extremely successful. Again, it started in 2020 and we are still offering this program. We have a lot of different partnerships when it comes to this program. We like to take the girls, they meet once a week. Again, we do not want to take up much of their time because they're helping out in the home and in the household. But we meet with them once a week. We focus on building that group dynamic. We have a lot of different conversations that we go into that are heavy topics at time. But, a lot of girls in there, they can understand each other. They have the same experience and expectations when it comes to the out of school hours. And so they're able to relate to each other just a little bit differently than someone who's coming from a different background that may not have those responsibilities. So you want to make sure that they know that there are other people out here who understand you in regards to your peers, but then there's also adults out here who want to support you and make sure you're still getting the same resources.
And that's the critical mentoring component to this program, that support mechanism. And that's one of the ways that they're really learning how others that have been faced with different challenges and adversity, how they've been able to overcome and persevere.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely important because you got to, you always hear it all the time, the greatest growth comes out of adversity. And it really helps if you see someone who got through that adversity and kind of see that other side of it. But I know we got plenty of things we still got to get to. So Maisha, I'll throw it back over to you.
Right. Number 2. All right. The next program that we offer is our Girls Circle program. And I love our Girls Circle program because we work with middle schoolers. And you know what? Middle schoolers are my favorite group of kids to work with. I know a lot of people say stay away because I love it because they're old enough to know, I always say this, but yet not quite old enough to put it in, socially political acceptable terms. And so you always just, it's always just fun working with middle schoolers because they're still at the age where they're not too cool for school quite yet. And so they have a lot to say and they are very highly engaged. And so I love working with middle schoolers. And this program is with middle school girls. And it's more of a structured support group that we offer throughout the day. We work with the counselors at the school. And it's really for girls that may be getting into some trouble at school. And we want to kind of stop and intervene before it leads to, bigger consequences. And so like if we're talking about, being absent or tardy or constantly, being excused from the classroom and not being able to connect with adults. And so in this program, we bring them together and we use the One Circle model and a lot of their curriculum as well. They sit in a circle and we hash out a lot of different topics and we want them to understand themselves and their feelings and where they're coming from, right? We do not want to squash their voice. That's not the point of it, and to somehow try to conform them into something that they are not. We just want to make sure that they are actually being heard when they are speaking. And a lot of times our girls can sometimes, the girls we particularly work with in that program, they have a valid point to feel the way they feel a lot of times within the school structure and system, especially our young girls of color, where they do not see a lot of representation and reflection, right? And a lot of people may not understand their background and what they're coming from. And so connection can be a little bit hard. And so again, it's valid how they're feeling. However, if our actions are a little bit louder than our voice, then what we're saying actually can be overshadowed by what we're doing. And we want to make sure that they are sharing their experiences and their opinions and their voice in a way that will be heard and keep them in the school building
right.
for the day.
Yeah. So, keep them pre-adjudicated. Yeah. That is the goal of the program. Right. So sure.
And so that's what this program is doing. It's really teaching them those skills to be able to communicate, not just with adults, but with each other as well. And we pilot this program at a middle school, at Dawes Middle School during the summer. And I had the
2016. So we've had this program a while.
And I had the privilege of I think I was substituting one time. And so I got to see it play out in reality, what they were learning. I saw two girls get into, it looked like they were about to get into a heated exchange of words and conversation. And these were two girls who were in the group. And they just stopped as I was about to walk up, hey, what's going on? But they stopped and they processed it. And that was the first time I'd seen that. They went around, they shared how they were feeling at that point. Mm-hmm. They shared if something could have been done differently. And then it was over. And I was like, oh, this is great. I love that you all can process conflict, because it's important that they understand how to process conflict on their own. Mm-hmm. Because, you can't have, with the school system that we have, with all the great people and staff that work in the school, they cannot be everywhere all at once. And so it's okay for, our young girls to experience a difference in conflict and not agree on things, or our students. But we also have to teach them how to resolve it in a way that is not harmful to themselves or to others, and that's respectful of themselves and to others. And I got to see that play out with girls in that group. And I was like, oh, it's working. Yeah. This work, they're learning those communication skills.
Yeah. And the cool thing about that one, Harrison, is by the end of the summer, the boys asked, could they have a circle?
We could have used one. And then, I'm sure we could have used one.
Then we had one boy said he was going to put on a dress and sneak in. So there you go.
Middle school, right?
Middle school, they are,
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, though, because I think about my youth, and anytime I was acting up, it was typically because I felt like I wasn't being heard, whether that was true or not. Mm-hmm. That's the way I was feeling. And those typically, when you act out, it just feels like youth in particular, when they feel like they're just being ignored, that's kind of when you see that frustration pent up. And then maybe they do run into a altercation, but it wasn't really that altercation that was the heart of it. Might have started it.
Exactly.
But it's, maybe months, weeks, years of frustration just kind of building up, not being heard. Let's see, we got about 4 minutes left here. So I think we can get to one more before we go.
And this is our last one. So Take a Break program. It's one of our most rewarding programs that we have, but it's a respite program for parents and guardians of children who identify on the autism spectrum or have other access and functional needs. And what's great about this program, it meets twice a month, and we partner with Belmont Community Center to deliver this program. But they meet twice a month, and it's for the kids, again, who they have identified, the parent or the guardian. But we also accept the whole family so that the parents can take a break. And they can do that while knowing that their children are in a safe and fun environment. And we have a really core group of families that take advantage of this program. And it's always great to have them come in. They get to take a full break because only one child has to identify within the family, and we accept everyone so that they can take a real break. We had a mom, we love telling the story, a mom who just went out and slept in the parking lot. That's what she needed in her car. She just needed some sleep.
Wow.
And when you are working with families who, it's just one parent that's the guardian. It's a single parent. Sorry, that's the guardian. You need that break. You need that support, and especially during the summer, if the kids are not in school, you have to go out, you have to run errands. It takes a lot to be able to get that, particular household together to do all those things. And then you have to rejuvenate yourself and, pour back in yourself. And we're just trying to be a part of their village so that they can do that and know that their child is in a safe space while they're doing that.
That's really, because parents too, they're going to put themselves on the back burner and sacrifice everything for their kids to try to get them what they need. Karen, you got anything to add to that before we go to our next break?
Just a quick shout out to the Human Resources Division, the Human Services Division of the county, because they provide a lot of the funding for these programs as well as Keno funds. So if our audience know that they are participating with Keno, here is the reality of how that money does transfer into resources for the community.
Absolutely. That's always good to point out, especially today. I know a lot of people, so unfortunately, we've had situations where the money doesn't go where it's supposed to, but that is very important to know. So it is going where it needs to go. We'll throw it to our last break here. This is the YWCA Hour. We're here with Maisha and Karen. We'll have one more segment, talk to you guys in just a little bit.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weekends, not Ticket Weeknights. This is the YWCA Hour. We're here with the hosts, as always, Maisha and Karen, representing the YWCA. A little bit of time left. First things first, before we forget, where can people find you guys?
Hey, come on out to 48th and Old Cheney. That's where we are. We're located there in the Briar Park Plaza, Suite 410. We call that the corporate office because, as we talked about earlier, our programs are at different locations around the city, making it very easy for our participants to access us. We do have, I would like to mention, our Wholesome Hygiene program, and that is supplying those personal hygienic needs to families that we distribute monthly. They can go online at www.ywcalincoln.org and fill out the application with those items that they need, and then they just come out to the office and they pick those up. We also have financial literacy classes. We have job interviewing. We give away vouchers for those who are seeking new employment or, want to move up in their current organization. They have those vouchers that they can take to Goodwill to get that clothing. But yes, we're out at 5631 South 48th Street, Suite 410. That's where you will find our offices. We are open from 9 to 4 to the general public, but that's one way that you can locate us.
Absolutely. And always use the website too. If you need a reminder of any information she just gave, that's ywcalincoln.org. You can find more information there. Maisha, before we go anywhere, you can add to this. You can take another direction. But what's coming up for the YWCA here that you guys are really excited about? Your next few steps, as we kind of foreshadowed it already with school starting up. What are you guys really dialing in on right now?
Yeah, again, in addition to school starting, we also offer through our advocacy some training.
Yeah.
And so we are connecting with the state at this point to do some training for a specific group. So we're excited about that. In regards to events coming up, I mean, it's a little bit away, but we do our annual trunk or treat. And it is our winter kit drive. So it's not just a trunk or treat. We actually pass out candy. That's great. But we also pass out winter kit items. So we're gloves and scarves and hats during that time as well. We also have a coat drive. And so that's another way to get involved with us if you are wanting to donate some of those winter kit items. September is almost here, and so we're starting to get ready for that and collecting those items and coats and things for our families that are in need.
That's absolutely a big one because and even I don't know, it's by choice. Unfortunately, for me, it's my choice, but I know kids, like when you see them out in the freezing cold and they got on just a kind of light jacket,
yes,
sometimes not even like proper pants out there, and they're wearing ankle socks. Like always, there's kids out there that those winter coats aren't cheap.
Especially. Oh, totally.
Like
we had a young man that came to our trunk or treat last year. And he was a teenager, and he didn't get one of the bags to go around and get candy from the different trunks. And I said, you could get candy too. He said, oh, no, ma'am, you gave me a coat.
Oh, yeah.
And that just tells the story right there of what it means.
Absolutely. So if you guys are interested, again, I can't stress it enough. You can go to the website, learn more information, ywcalincoln.org. Lincoln.org. That is going to wrap it up for us today. Again, be sure to check these guys out. We'll be back again next Sunday, same time. That is 1 to 2 p.m. every Sunday until we get past the month of August. So that being said, we got Bills Thrills up next. Don't go anywhere. We'll keep it rolling on Ticket Sundays.